Okay, you're at Autosport in Indiana, Pennsylvania, and we're going to present to you a 1969 Dart. This guy's a little bit different. This one is a GTS. Now there are a slew of 340 swingers out there, but this one is a swinger 340, only a GTS, which means it has bucket seats and a console and a lot of amenities that the standard swinger did not have. Pretty expensive car in its day. So we're going to go over it and show you everything we can on it. Obviously it's a green, and it is the correct color green. There is a fender tag, and everything on this thing is in agreement with the fender tag. Lines down its side from the fender to the hood to the cowl area, and back down this side, 1/8 of an inch the whole way, just the way it should be. Of course, your power bulge is on the hood, 340 designation. It is a P code car. GTS, obviously, designation in the front. The grille is absolutely the way it was in 1969, the way it left the factory. Chrome on the front bumper, and the alignment and everything is just spot on. It can't be any nicer than it is. Paint on the hood is exemplary. This car was done by a Mopar restoration shop, and it's done really to the nth degree. Everything is correct on this car. Okay, down the side, it does have the original style 14-inch dog dish steel wheels on it, painted green to match the car, and that's the way these guys came, red line tires. In fact, this guy even has the bias ply tires the way they were from the factory. Doesn't even have radials on it.
Those are expensive tires.
They are. They're very expensive. Very expensive. We just bought them for a Superbird, and we know how expensive those were. Wheel lip moldings. Perfect. No marks on them whatsoever. Standard glass in it. Well, I shouldn't say that. It looks like it does have tinted glass. I think it does have tinted glass. And of course, LS23 P code car. So LS is a high-end Dodge Dart. 23 is Tudor hardtop. P is 340. 9 is the year, and B, this would be a Hamtrak car instead of Lynch Road. This guy's a Hamtrak car. The padded dash in it, absolutely no cracks, no visible marks whatsoever on it, no deviations. Correct wiper arms and blades on this guy. Trim around the front window. There's no marks or indentures or anything on it, just the way it was in 1969 when it left the factory. I mean, this car is really an exemplary restoration of a 1969 Dart. Roof. The hood's over there. I think this is the roof up at this end up here, the highest point. Vinyl is absolutely flawless on it. I'm sure it's been replaced through the years, but it's absolutely perfect. There's no marks whatsoever on it. A little tiny bit of a mark here on the drip grill molding. Maybe during the installation it was put on. Wipes, whiskers are all replaced and they're new. Remote mirror. Fender to door, you can see the gap is absolutely spot on, just the way it should be. And the same thing on the back here to the quarter panel. Back of the door to the front of the rear quarter panel. Look at the glass fitment, really, really nice. Chrome on the handle, there's no marks or any patina whatsoever on it. See how the door is put. Look at this. Very, very nicely put together. This car is just an exemplary 1969 Dodge Dart. Interior is the way it should be, and it's our lovely, I don't want to tell you what I call it, green interior. It has the wood grain console in it, console being an option for a Dodge Dart GTS. Bucket seats, of course, were standard in a GTS. There are some cracks in the steering wheel itself. There are a few just from shrinkage through the years. Certainly nothing that would, you know, you wouldn't replace it. It's good. The horn ring itself is nice and resilient. Horn works just the way it should. Dash, all your gauges, everything is nice and clear in it. GTS Sport on the door.
We got some touch-up paint.
Yeah, you got original touch-up paint with it too. Headliner is flawless. It does have a complement of seat belts in it, front and rear, and it also has the shoulder bolts hanging from the ceiling up here. So it's a fairly well-equipped car. It does have power steering. It's on the bottom of this. Does have power steering. The carpeting is all correct for the year. Everything is correct on this car, even the seatbelts. Everything is the way it should have been in 1969. Let's see what we got here. Tag inside the door, the way it would have been in 1969. Also in front of the door jamb. Everything on this car is just as it was in 69 when it was released. One down the side, it just, everything lines up, and you'll see in the high resolution photography that the car is just as linear as could possibly be down the sides of it. No indentures, no marks on the fender lips whatsoever, absolutely none. GTA Sport stripes on the back, just the way they would have been in 69. Correct color of the back window, all the trim around the rear window, the hatch shelf itself, rack, tray, whatever we want to call it. It's the original type material that was available on this car in 1969. You can see there's no deterioration on the back of the top of the back of the seat. Trim around the back, a little bit of patina on this tail light here. You can see it, you know, it's the original tail lights yet. The anodized section through the center is really nice. Chrome on the bumper is just exemplary. It's beautiful. Alignment is spot on. You can see that. You got the correct two chrome exhaust tip extensions coming out. The Dodge GTS designation. The fitment of this deck lid is, again, just like the hood, just spot on. It can't be any nicer than it is. It's like an 1/8 of an inch gap the entire area the whole way around. There's nothing on here that you couldn't in fact, you know what, we'll show you in the trunk while we're back here. We might as well show you the trunk. Okay, there's our GTS trunk. There's the original spare tire in it. Of course, it's you know, the same E7014 bias ply on the correct style wheel. You can see that the trunk floor itself is still all nice and unrusted, totally rust-free, absolutely none. This car at one point, and I'm going to point it out, it was done by a restoration shop. It had 2 half quarters put on it, which you'll see where they were bonded together here. And so that tells us that at some point, usually around the wheel lips, around the rear wheel lips and down along the drop downs, that usually had some deterioration, and that's been addressed in this car. The rest of the car is all original tin, which, by the way, it even leaves your numbers on the top of the quarter here, so that, you know, it shows you that it's the original tin on the car. Okay, passenger side. Same thing it was on the driver's side. Everything is just as straight and linear. When you look down the side of this car, it doesn't even appear to have doors on it. It's that straight and that nicely done. Again, the wheel lips just as nice as can be. A little tiny mark here, I don't know what it is. It's certainly not rust. It's some imperfection in the paint whenever they painted it. It must have been something just stuck on there and they painted over it. Trim around the window in the back is the same as it was in the front. There's no dents or irregularities to it. Again, this, you know, this could be the original vinyl top. I'm not saying that this had been replaced. It almost looks like this could have been the original vinyl on it, but it's certainly perfect. I mean, there's no indication of anything being shrunk up or deteriorated in any way. Wife's whiskers are just as sweet as can be, and again, look at this. Can't be any nicer than it is. You see the carpeting. You gotta like green. If you want this car, you definitely have to like green, because it's green everywhere, one shade or another. Nice contrast though from the outside color to the interior color, and the seats are just flawless. There's no marks whatsoever. And you can see how it closes. I mean, when do you see a Mopar close like that? I think it's a Porsche. I guess it must think it's a Porsche. A little bit of patina on the side of here, and certainly nothing that would detract from the charisma of this guy, but a little bit of deterioration on that wing. I don't know why, but there is. And again, on this side of the windshield, everything is just as sweet and clean as can be. The correct style antenna, base and everything for it. And the gaps on this door are the same as they were in the other one. Everything is just as straight and linear as can possibly be. Pentastar designation on the bottom of the fender that was there from day one. Dog dish hubcaps. I mean, it's just got everything going for it. It has absolutely all the originality that you would ever have. I mean, this is beautiful. A lot of charisma with this. Look, 344 barrel, and this trim that's just usually deteriorated some, this one is not. Absolutely not.
Get it, lift up.
I'll get it right here. Okay. Now this is where it gets very interesting. You know, somebody wants a numbers matching correct car. Here it is. There's the fender tag that breaks everything down, tells you exactly which options are on the car. They agree with the engine. It has the correct intake manifold, the correct AVS carburetor, 6 1/4 AVS carburetor that came with it. It does have power steering, correct radiator, and it even has the correct exhaust manifolds, which are very difficult to find, with the original tins that even came with them, you know, to protect the heat off the plugs. Of course, the plug wires themselves are aftermarket, and it does have a new power brake, or not power brake, a master brake cylinder system on it. Correct air cleaner for it, correct valve pan covers, and it is a numbers matching engine in every way. The driveline is numbers matching. It has a 8 3/4 355 posi rear in it from the factory. This is all broken down on the tag. It'll tell you everything about the car. As far as options go, you can see that nothing's ever been disrupted on the front of this guy. Serial numbers and everything are everywhere they should be on the car. It's just a really nice car.
And that battery.
Yeah,
These things
Mopar
aren't
battery.
cheap.
No, these are really expensive. Somebody spent a lot of money making this back to originality, you know, with the tires that are on it, you know. I mean, people don't understand, the bi-ply tires on this car are much more expensive than a good set of radials today, but, you know, they wanted to keep originality, and so that's what they have, even as far as the Mopar battery goes. It has originality. The hood pad underneath the hood pad is there, the original horn. Everything on this car, you know, you start looking at it, all the clamps are original Mopar clamps on it. It's electronic ignition system on it. It's just a car that's done to the nth degree, showing you everything on the car is numbers correct. You know, this thing is not some car that was just thrown together. It's a real GTS, which makes it has rarity in itself, and the fact that they produce very few of them. And from what I understand, there is a GTS registry, and this car is posted in the GTS registry. So this is the real deal. It is a GTS. It's a 69, original factory tin. It's never been compromised in any type of trauma, you know, in collisions or anything else. Everything on the front end of this car is new. Shocks are new. Everything in the suspension is all new in the car. It's a complete restoration done by a reputable Chrysler restoration shop. It's a nice car. We're going to go for a ride in it and show you how the car runs. And it's available here in Indiana, PA at Autosport. Hey, we're on our 69 Dart doing a road test here. Going down the road straight as an arrow, no hands on it. You can see it just straight as an arrow. And we're going to do brakes now. I got to watch this car right on my rear end here, but their brakes are working. Okay. Everything, the car is real tight. The steering is very precise. You can see power steering, and it works just the way it should. And it very responsive. It doesn't have any slop play in it. Brakes work well. I mean, it's a 340 Mopar. I mean, these things were strong running cars. Nice tight suspension. Everything being new, everything replaced, including the shocks. And again, there's no shakes or shimmies or rattles or squeaks or anything with the car. It's just as nice a vehicle as you'd ever want to find. And that's the way most of our cars are, actually. You know, it sounds very, you know, repetitive, but it's a fact. I mean, we try to make these cars and try to get cars that are not going to be problem children, you know, for whoever purchases them. You know, we want to make sure these cars are right before someone gets them, you know. I mean, they're old vehicles, you know, things happen to them, you know, and obviously, you know, we try to do the best job we can to turn signal. We're trying to do the best job we can to represent these cars.
Our blower does work. The fan does work on there. We got the old style air conditioning right here. It's a vent.
Car runs well, shifts nice and firm. I mean, it's a nice strong running 340. It's a nice car. Temperature's up, you can see it's running nice and cool now. Not overly heated or anything. It's just and everything in it works. I mean, it's just a nice car. Just a really nice car.
Our radio wasn't working,
Yeah,
which we don't care.
We don't do radios. We found that through the years that whatever radio you put in here, nobody's going to want anyway, so they're going to put their own sound system in, which everyone likes originality, so we leave the original radio in place if we have it, and they generally put in the trunk or in the glove box, they put whatever sound system they want and then hide the speakers wherever they want, and that's kind of the way it's done now, I guess. So you'll have to hum if you don't put another radio in here, I guess. Nice car, remote control mirror, and it works. Everything in this car works like it should. It's a nice car.
The wood grain's all real nice in it.
Console, yeah. Console, the chrome's nice on the console. That's what's nice about it.
Yeah, it's all nice.
These consoles are very, very expensive to replace, and this particular one is absolutely perfect. It's a nice car. You gotta take a look at it. It's here at Autosport in Indiana, PA, and you're not going to find a duplication of this thing. I don't think, because this one does have a real originality.
Back at our 69 Dodge Dart, we're gonna show you the lights on it here. We got the low beams on, high beams, passenger side turn signal is working. Our driver's side, we got to replace the bulb in there. Rears are working. Turn signal. Backup lights. That is the 1969 Dodge Dart that we have. It's located in Indiana, PA. We offer financing, shipping, and we take trades. Feel free to give me a call or text. 724-840-3499. 724-840-3499.